here with ever so successful YouTuber Carter Scherer. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we've got a lot of fun things to talk about before we dive into the fact that you have an extremely successful YouTube with 7.72 million followers just on that platform alone. You weren't always on YouTube, so I wanted to take it back a step and talk about your very interesting background. I have a little note here to make sure I get it right. So you got a degree in quantum mechanics and electrical and computer engineering before designing your own major in robotics, which is like a typical Tuesday for me, of course. Yeah, I do those things too, yeah. With all that, you had a job programming self-driving cars, but you left all that to do YouTube. So tell me, how did that transition even cross your mind?
Yeah, that is definitely seems a little odd given my track. YouTube was something that presented itself, and being such a creative person and passion for doing big and crazy stuff, I had to seize the opportunity. I knew it was going to be once in a lifetime, and if it works, it'd be fun. If it doesn't, then I'll just keep programming self-driving cars.
It worked for sure, because you are so well received. You have such a huge audience, and you do apply some of that academic knowledge into some of your videos and some of the ideas that you do in creating these crazy cool headlines and ideas for these videos, one of which being you built a 20-foot yacht out of Legos. So talk to me about applying those academic skills into these unconventional ideas.
Yeah, what's really interesting is you wouldn't think someone with a background like mine in computer science and robotics that it would translate over to making fun YouTube videos with Legos and lions and spicy food, but it actually does a lot. It helps me understand how to approach the problem that I'm trying to solve, which is I want to do something big and crazy. How do I pull it off? How do I coordinate the people, the productions, and make it in a comprehensive video that's really fun to watch? So there's a lot of dynamics involved, and through the learning of problem solving that I've developed through college in my other careers, it actually did help a lot when it came to making content, because I never went to school for that. I never learned how to do any of it. So I just had to break it down step by step.
And with your content, not one of your videos is the same. We've got you building like a 20-foot Lego yacht. You're filling up a pool with Hershey syrup. What is the formula for thinking of all these different diverse ideas? Like how do you even start from scratch with this stuff?
I always like to think about what I wish I could have done when I was younger and some of my crazy imagination when I was just a kid, and then apply that with adult money and adult friends. And we can basically get away and do the craziest stuff that my mom would always say, no, you can't pour chocolate syrup on yourself, or don't put your Lego pool or something. So we're going big and crazy. Most of these things are just something that I always wished and dreamed of when I was younger.
I can imagine like giving the idea of everything that you would want to do as a kid and giving it an adult budget.
Yeah.
That's like every kid's dream come true. So you're definitely living the dream. This might be hard, and I don't know if you'll be able to come up with an answer for it, but what has been your favorite video thus far?
That is a very challenging question. We've done so many crazy things. But one that comes to mind was Last to Leave Lion Cage, where we all went inside a real lion cage, and the last one to leave was the winner. That one was crazy because I've never seen a lion up close and personal, let alone locked in its cage, just laying there. That one was scary, but we learned a lot. We made sure we did it safely, but that was quite an experience.
I can only imagine. I can't say that's something that I'm ever going to be doing, but it's always fun to get to watch you do it. So it's fun to be on the viewer side of it. Aside from putting yourself in a cage with a lion, you're very conscious about setting a great example for your audience, and your content is very family friendly. So tell me, why are those values so important to you as a content creator? Because I feel like you really do put those things like on the forefront of your self-image.
I think it's important because it was the way that I was raised, is to always be positive, not to use bad language. It was just part of, my upbringing, and it's something that I always agreed with. It always made sense to me. And at the same time, most of my audience really does appreciate that, especially with viewers of younger audience. We don't want to leave a bad impression. We want to always stay positive, show the crazy fun stuff that you can do with your imagination without being inappropriate.
I love that, because I think that there are a lot of content creators out there who feel like you have to curse, or you have to be raunchy or this or that to, get the views. But you can absolutely have the most fun and get the views without going in that direction. So I absolutely love that. I think that shines through in your content so very well. What advice would you have for aspiring YouTubers who want to maybe one day even be half as big as you? Let me get out my pen and paper really quick and take down some of these notes.
I would say the biggest advice I can give is to just get started and give it a try. When I first started out, I was just like a huge nerd, robotics and programming and physics, and I had no business being in front of the camera. And a lot of my first videos are just that, something that are so cringy you would never watch. But I just kept going. I was just like, hey, I'm having fun with it. I'm hoping it'll work. And it wasn't working at first, but I just kept going and going. That's my biggest advice, is a lot of people just get started. You'll never know what you discover.
Yeah, I think that's so true, is just to get that camera started and just put it out there. Hope that something sticks. I don't know necessarily if I would ever be able to be as big as you, but we're in the hands of greatness. So that is some great advice for sure. Not only do you have such a big following on your channel, but you've created one of the largest creator houses. Talk to me about that and how that came about.
Team RAR, yeah, I'm very excited about what we've done with Team RAR and having the Team RAR house, one of the biggest creator houses in the world. It's something that I knew from the start that in order to create content, it's not, at least for me, doing it solo. I always have my friends involved. It's always a team effort. And so why not actually build a team where we can all support each other in the content that we create? And that's what we did with Team RAR.
Can you name off for me your favorite quality of each member in Team RAR?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Lizzie Capri is like the bundle of like girl energy. She's so talented, sometimes very annoying. And then we got Ryan. I think he's one of our funniest members. He's so goofy, but always just brings so much to each and every video. And then we got Stove, who's like the gamer of our group. He's so good at Fortnite and playing video games, and his work ethic is incredible. And then we got Bailey Payne, and he is honorary member of Team RAR, and his tricking skills with backflips are out of this world. And then we have our newest addition, which is Denise, and she films, and together they team up, and they are just all the girl energy that battles the boys energy that we have. So she helps balance out the whole team as well.
Now, Denise being the newest addition, but she definitely has made some impactful moments, touching on the fact that you and your girlfriend, Lizzie Capri, did break up at one point, but then you got back together, and it was announced to not only like the world, but it seemed like to the both of you that you were officially back together when Denise got a billboard made. Take me back to that day.
Yeah, that was one of the more surprising things, I would say.
It seemed like in that moment, like when you saw it, you were like a little bit hesitant to be like, Lizzie, are you back together? But I think it was pretty obvious that you wanted it to be. So I think it was awesome that Denise did that. Do you regret that billboard happening, or are you glad that she kind of gave it that push?
I've always wanted to have a billboard, especially driving around in like New York and LA. You see billboards. I always thought it'd be so cool to be on a billboard. This way was a little bit different. Liz and I were taking our time behind the scene with our relationship, and we didn't want to put it out. And then boom, billboard right in the middle of West Hollywood, Los Angeles. Everyone's seeing it. All my neighbor friends and everyone in LA is texting me and sending me pictures. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, well, the word's out. So we're just going to run with it and just have a good time.
And it really is for the best, because I feel like through the videos and through social media, you and Lizzie are going so strong still. So you know what, that little push, even if it wasn't a little push, it was a giant billboard, way worth it. Now, do you have any other projects aside from YouTube that we maybe don't know about, or anything within the YouTube realm that you want to maybe talk about?
Yeah, we have a lot of things going on. One of my biggest things that I'm really excited about that we run behind the scenes is our apparel, teamrar.com. And so we're always working on growing that. It's been such a journey learning how to produce different pieces of clothing, t-shirts and hoodies and all this stuff. And I'm really excited about the fact that our fans that love our content have a way tangibly to interact and support us as well. So that's something that I'm very excited about. And also a couple other things, some really big videos. We're trying to build another giant Lego house. So that's kind of on the same vein of a Lego boat, except this time it's a 3-story full-size house made of Legos. So I think that one's gonna be really fun too.
Always bigger and better. You always continue to not only amaze all of your fans, but me included. It just, the fact that that's even something that you're taking on, I'm so excited to see when that comes out. Just the coolest ever. Now, I always love to end the interviews with a couple of fun questions, so I have some picked out for you. What is your favorite midnight snack?
Mini Oreos.
Mini Oreos? Okay, I don't like Oreos, so I have to disagree, but I can respect it because a lot of people really love it. They really love it, so I can respect that. That's a good answer. Now, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I would say the superpower to be able to fly.
I like that. I like that answer for sure. And then my last question for you is who is your favorite YouTuber to watch?
That is a really good question. There are so
Putting you
many
on
good
the hot
YouTubers.
burner right now. I
It
feel
is.
like
It's a
that's like a
really
tough one.
hard question. I have a lot, but if I had to say one, I think Mr. Beast and what he's doing with his team is absolutely amazing. Breaking the bounds and just climbing to the top of YouTube, I gotta respect that.
And you know what? I feel like you and him both are climbing to the top of YouTube. You guys like the kings of it. Hats off to both of you. That's a great answer. We are so excited to continually see what amazing content you put out, doing the craziest of stuff. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.